We interrupt this transmission to bring you the following live broadcast.
It's Wednesday. It's 6 p.m. It's the ThinkSoJoE Show! Lower thirds froze for a second there. That was weird. Anyway, they just slowly came up and disappeared. Yeah, or whatever. As long as the rest of the shit works, right?
Right.
Anyway, hey. ThinkSoJoE Show. Laura's already complaining in the chat.
Awesome.
That's, yeah. Boo, no, whoa. I listen every single week, but I don't like you guys. Ooh. Speaking of not liking us, listen, we are Black Lives Matter. We are Antifa. And if you've got a fucking problem with it, get the fuck out now. Because we don't
keep an open mind.
We don't believe in fascism, and we believe that all men are created equal. That is what this country is literally founded on.
Yeah.
And some of you guys don't get that. You don't understand. We're going to educate you today. Karina's got flashcards.
I did some homework.
She did some work. She put together some stuff. So yeah. I've been over the past week, I've been accused of watching too much CNN. I've been asked what news channels I watch. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, I don't watch any of them. I don't trust any of them. I don't believe any of them. Okay? Because you got Fox over here who's saying, well, Donald Trump is the greatest ever, and he's going to make America great again. And all these people that are against him, they're terrorists. And then you've got the other guys, CNN and MSN, and they're, well, you know, Joe Biden is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and he's a fucking racist rapist too, so fuck him too. We vote libertarian here. I do anyway. I don't know about you. I'm not pushing you to do anything that you don't feel comfortable. I've looked into the candidates. I am for Joe Jorgensen, the libertarian candidate this year. I've had people tell me this week, oh, well, you know, if you're voting for them, that's how Trump gets elected. No, listen. If you are voting against one guy, you're worried that the bad guy's going to win if the libertarians get votes? Guess what? I got news for you. The bad guy's going to win regardless if the libertarians don't get the fucking vote. So get the fuck out with that bullshit.
When I registered to vote way back when I was 17, like it was like in social studies class. It was, I don't know. I registered as independent. And I lean towards third parties. I will admit I'm not too educated on the election. I have been focusing a lot on other things going on. Mm-hmm. But I'm still trying to register to vote here at this address. Right. It's not as easy as they make it sound. Or I'm doing something really wrong with technology.
I think we will. We're going to try and register you to vote while we're on the air today. I think that's a plan. We're going to try and register you to vote.
Okay.
But I have looked into some of the issues. First of all, if you guys are not sure what else is out there, right? You're just like, well, you know, CNN and Fox and NBC and all them. They tell me about Joe Biden and they tell me about Donald Trump, but they don't tell me about Joe Jorgensen. And they don't tell me about any of these other candidates that are out there because realistically, there's no, you know, it's a two-party system.
Yeah.
And until the libertarians get or the Green Party or anybody else that's out there gets a decent amount of the vote, an enough amount of the vote, they're not going to get noticed. And you're going to get these idiots who are just like, well, you know, if you vote for the, you know, third parties, you're voting for Trump. No, you're not voting for Trump. You're voting for change. You're voting against the status quo. And that's what I have been doing the last couple of elections. That's what I'm doing this election. Personally, I would rather vote for Vermin Supreme than any of them. But since Joe Jorgensen got the libertarian nomination, and I've read her platform, and I think it's fantastic. I think aside from the nuclear power, she's very pro nuclear power. I don't know if I really like that much, but everything else in her campaign, I am absolutely for. Now, I went to a website. It's called isidewith.com.
Okay.
Okay. So now, if you don't know who's out there, you go to isidewith.com and you answer a questionnaire, right? This questionnaire is going to ask you things like, what do you think of, things about education, things about the environment, things about, the police, and things about big government and stuff like that, pollution, all kinds of questions, right? About all the different platforms that the party, that the candidates can talk about and run on. And mine I actually went through it the other day. It did side me with the Green Party candidate. I cannot think of his name. I know it's Howie is his first name.
I like that name.
But I went to his website and I kind of read through his platform a little bit too. I still think I want to vote more libertarian.
Yeah.
And I think I think honestly, to have a chance, I think the libertarian vote is the way to go, because I see a lot of people talking about libertarians and the candidates that are running for the Libertarian Party and the platforms that they are running on, and trying to just, I think that's probably the best way to go, honestly. And not that the guy on the Green Party's got a bad platform, but my first exposure to Jo Jorgensen was she posted something and said that she's going to eliminate punishment for victimless crimes.
Okay.
So what that means is like drugs.
Certain drugs.
Drugs. If you're taking drugs and you're not hurting anybody except yourself,
okay,
that's on you. That's your punishment. You're hurting your damn self.
All right.
And what that does is that alleviates some of the pressure on some of the people of color that are overly charged with crimes like that.
They're targeted by the law enforcement,
right?
And we'll be talking later about what is it, adultification?
Yeah, it was adultification bias.
Adultification bias, where people of certain races are treated just differently and more strictly, like they're held more strictly to standards, for no other explanation than because they are black.
Sure. And that's what eliminating like low-level crimes that are victimless would do, is alleviate some of that. Hopefully, she's against big government. She's wants to make taxes voluntary.
That's interesting.
Which that's been a libertarian point of view, is that taxation is theft. So, I mean, and of course, I shared a couple of links on Twitter. If you follow me at ThinkSoJoE on Twitter, I did share some links to both her candidacy or her website rather, and the Green Party candidate's website, and also I think probably Vermin Supreme's website too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you don't know, start with isidewith.com. Go there, punch in your answers to all the questions. See who matches up best with you, and then do more research from there. And that's how I got to voting for Gary Johnson the last time, who is also who Laura voted for the last election, general election for U.S. president. And that's where I discovered him, and that's where I was like, okay, yeah, I like this guy, and I like what he stands for, and he's my candidate. He's the guy I want to win. So I'm not voting for the lesser of two evils. I'm not voting for the which guy is the least bad guy. I'm voting for the guy who, or in this case, the woman who represents what I want in a president, what my desires in a president would be.
I think that's a good way to look at it.
And I wish, and I don't care, if you're a Trump supporter, okay, even though I told you to get out earlier, if you're a Trump supporter, okay, you have your reasons, I'm sure. And I don't know if anything I ever say is going to convince you otherwise. And just like nothing anybody says is going to convince me that I want to vote for Trump. So, or if you agree with anything Biden says and you say Biden is going to be a good president and you want to vote for Biden and you agree with his platforms, and I don't know why you would, but if you do, I'm not going to be mad at you for voting for him. If you feel that you are justified in your choice. The only reason I will judge you for your vote is if you say, well, I voted for Biden because he's not Trump.
Okay.
Okay? And that's, I'm not saying I want Trump to win. I absolutely do not want 4 more years of this.
I don't think we, yeah.
This is terrible. Make America Great Again was his campaign slogan.
Uh-huh.
Is this what America looks like when it's great? We have racial violence in the streets.
Right.
We're shut down to a pandemic that could have been better contained.
Right.
Had Trump acted on it, quick enough. And somebody told me the other day, he was getting criticized for acting too soon. Like, I didn't hear that.
I don't remember seeing
My understanding is he acted on it too late, and that's why we had to shut everything down.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's proof out there. Maybe Trump did try to do something. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be. It's entirely possible. I had a friend message me the other day, and it's an old friend. I've known him 30 years, and I know he's not. I've never heard him say a racist thing in his life, and I don't, but I don't know what's gotten into him, and because he's telling me, well, Black Lives Matter or they're racists and they're advocating for murdering cops. And he sent me a video, okay? So he sends me this video. I'm watching this video because we have intellectual discussions. We don't sit here and say, well, you're fucking wrong. We say, well, this is why I think you're wrong. Mm-hmm. And here's a video to show you, where I'm coming from. We try to see each other's point of views. And I like that kind of discussion, as I've mentioned many times on this show before. And so he sends me this video of a protest from 2015, Black Lives Matter marching, and they're chanting, pigs in a blanket, fry 'em like bacon.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so I understand how that can be perceived as a threat. I understand that. However, the way I looked at it and the way I heard it, I don't think there was any ill intent there, honestly. I don't think they were actually advocating for, frying a cop. I don't think, And it's also, I guess it's all subjective. And the first thing I said after I said, man, I don't think there was actual intent there. I think it's, I think you're misconstruing this. And the first thing I said was, man, I sound like a Trump supporter. And he says, I'm surprised you're not. This coming from a guy who was in a band with me where I had a song about lighting George Bush on fire. I didn't mean we should actually literally light him on fire.
It's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor. We burn him in effigy. Actually, the original line was to watch you burn in effigy instead of to watch you burn with gasoline, which is the line. And by the way, if you guys listen to this show, watch this show every week, you hear that theme song at the beginning of the show. That's the song. So I got this guy who's been in a band with me, who knows I was vehemently against George W. Bush, and is surprised I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got another guy has been commenting on all my Facebook posts, who also used to be in that band with me.
Oh.
And, playing drums on the song where we're talking about lighting metaphorically lighting George Bush on fire. I don't advocate lighting people on fire, even if it is a corrupt president.
Right.
Or just a less than intelligent president. By the way, Bush said something last week. I don't remember what it was, but it was way more intelligent than anything Trump has said on any of these issues.
Did it make you miss him?
A little bit, yeah. I'm like, if this guy is making me say, man, this guy was a way better president,
Yeah.
something's wrong. Full confession, I voted for Bush in 2000.
Did you?
I did. I didn't know any better.
Was that the first time?
Yeah, that was my first time voting. I voted for Bush.
That his first time?
Yes.
Okay.
That was where he won. With the hanging chads and the missing votes and all that other bullshit. But, so full confession, I voted for him. And then after 4 years, I'm like, I can't vote for this again.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit older and I was a little bit wiser 4 years later. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'm going to vote for, who the fuck did he even run against? John Kerry or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember being at Teletech when Kerry conceded. It's like, dude, you still can win Ohio. What are you doing? I don't know. You ever notice it's always controversial when a Republican president wins? It's never a landslide. It's always like, well, you know, if he only won because you know Trump is president. He didn't win the popular vote.
No.
And no, he didn't. He won. He got the Electoral College. That's another thing that I just am not going to get into right now.
You know what? Closer to election time, if these flashcards go well, I'll make election time flashcards.
Sure.
And
So
that'll be great.
So I have been outspoken about getting rid of a two-party system, and we just froze. Our camera just went away.
No.
I don't know what just happened. I hope you guys can hear us at the very least.
Yeah.
We'll try and get that up and running, I guess, during the next song break or right now. I have no idea. I don't know what happened. We just lost video. Anyway. What was I talking about? The Electoral College.
Yes.
I've been against the two-party system, and I've been against the Electoral College for many, many, many years, and I've been outspoken about it, and I think it is something that we can, well, you know, we're going to give you something better to look at, I guess. Anyway, and, you know, I don't want to get into it right now. I understand the purpose of the Electoral College. I don't need to be told that, oh, well, you know, it's because New York and California, there's more people there, and blah, 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 blah. But I mean, this is how we get Trump. Mm-hmm. It's not because I voted for fucking Gary Johnson. It's because Midwest farmers voted for Trump.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah. I figured you had audio. It's the video we lost because the video and the audio are in separate
Do you want to troubleshoot and I'll go through some flashcards?
Sure, I'm going to turn the camera off and back on, and you can do that for a second, I guess.
All right, so guys and gals and everything else, our first term is Antifa. Okay, you can't see my flashcard because the video's not working, but dictionary.com defines Antifa as a left-wing political movement made up of various autonomous groups that oppose fascism and other right-wing ideologies, often through militant protest tactics. Okay, so what that is saying is not that Antifa is a terrorist group. Antifa is a movement. It's a group of groups, just like Black Lives Matter, which we'll talk about. Let's see. Though there are people who use violence and militant protests, you know, every side has people that resort to violence. It's not like Antifa is the only group of people that are resorting to violence and vandalism and all of that. But, as we see here, there's no one Antifa organization. Rather, it's a movement of various groups and individuals united by their opposition to fascism. Okay, so this is all dictionary.com, okay? They had a lot to say. While many Antifa activities are nonviolent, if deliberately disruptive, some actions involve physical altercations, vandalism, and digital violations. Don't worry, we talk about the alt-right later. Amid the protests, Trump sought to declare Antifa a terrorist organization, although the U.S. government can currently only declare foreign groups as terrorist organizations, not to mention that Antifa has no single central structure. Okay, so Antifa has been widely criticized by both political left and right for its use of violence and destruction of property. Antifa adherents or sympathizers argue that their aggression is a legitimate act of self-defense against oppression. And that's also dictionary.com. What I'm going to say, my speculation on this is it's not necessarily, I mean, unfortunately, it is self-defense a lot of the time. But also I think it's just defense. We are defending our country. We're defending our people. We're not trying to be violent. The violence is being provoked.
Right.
And that's not just Antifa. It's, everybody is being provoked right now. And it's up to us to do basically what we did and stop the riots, stop the vandalism, stop the violence, and have the peaceful protests like everybody in Buffalo came together and did this past weekend and later in the week. What else can I say about Antifa? It is impossible to know. Okay, this is according to the New York Times. It is impossible to know how many people count themselves as members. Its followers acknowledge that the movement is secretive, has no official leaders, and is organized into autonomous local cells. It is also only one in a constellation of activist movements that have come together in the past few years to oppose the far right. What else? It's also a political movement that originated on... Wait, no, that's the alt-right. That's the alt-right. Okay, that's everything I have on Antifa right now. We can further discuss Antifa if you guys want.
I'm still just trying to get us on video here.
Okay, so we'll talk about the alt-right. So the alt-right is a political movement originating on social media and online forums, composed of a segment of conservatives who support extreme right-wing ideologies, including white nationalism and anti-Semitism. This is according to dictionary.com. According to Wikipedia, I know Wikipedia isn't like the most credible source, but it gives you a starting point and it gives you references so that you can do further research if you are so inclined. So according to Wikipedia, the alt-right, an abbreviation of alternative right, is a loosely connected far-right white nationalist movement based in the United States. A largely online phenomenon, the alt-right originated in the U.S. during the 2010s, although it has since established a presence in various other countries. The term is ill-defined, having been used in different ways by various self-described alt-rightists, media commentators, and academics. Groups which have been identified as alt-right also espouse white supremacism, white separatism, severe immigration restrictions, racism, xenophobia, anti-Semitism, and Islamophobia. So they sound like a bunch of winners, don't they? What else can we say about them? On being elected, Trump renounced the movement, attempting to move from a web-based to a street-based movement. So he's taking this hatred to the streets.
Somebody the other day said to me that Antifa, to go back, I know you're not talking about them right now, but somebody the other day said to me that Antifa are fascists, and you know how they name these things is they never are what they mean. What the fuck, dude? Just shut up.
Well, that is kind of what people would like you to believe, is that they're exactly like the white supremacists, except the opposite. The opposite causes, but just as extreme. There is a lot of extreme there. There is. But the Antifa mindset tend to lean towards more peaceful means of getting what we want.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the alt-right. The anti-fascist researcher Matthew N. Lyons defined the alt-right as a loosely organized far-right movement that shares the contempt for both liberal multiculturalism and mainstream conservatism, a belief that some people are inherently superior to others, a strong internet presence, and embrace of specific elements of online culture, and the self-presentation as being new, hip, and irreverent. There's no way that they don't sound like losers. The movement's origins, this is according to NPR. The movement's origins are traced to many conservatives' opposition of the policies of George W. Bush, especially the U.S. invasion of Iraq. Alt-righters are strictly isolationist, which, if you look at Trump and all of his policies, like, it makes sense. Like, he wants to be better than anybody else, but he wants to fix it from the, he wants to make America great again by making America great again, not by taking over the world. So that is a little bit different than some of the other evil presidents that we've had.
Right.
So how is it coming for you?
Terribly. I am missing stuff now. Stuff just vanished. I don't know where the rain thing is right now. It's gone.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, we'll fix it in a second, though. Oh, no, there it is. Song break, rain. Okay. Video. We're still trying here to get video back up for you guys.
Yeah.
Live video stuff, so we're going to...
Well, I can tell you guys about fascism.
Please.
Okay. I feel like 17-year-old Karina right now. It really makes me feel a lot better about being a grown-up. Okay, fascism. Sometimes initial capital letter. Okay, a governmental system led by a dictator, having complete power, forcibly suppressing opposition and criticism, regimenting all industry, commerce, etc., and emphasizing an aggressive nationalism and often racism. That is by the definition of dictionary.com. Fascism is thought to have been born in Italy during World War I, when Mussolini came to power. And that's according to the Washington Post. There's just extra information in there that Mussolini was an ex-journalist. Maybe that's why he was so good at manipulating people. Anyways, attributes of fascism are, and this is also from the Washington Post article, hyper-nationalism, militarism, glorification of violence and readiness to use it in politics, fetishization of youth, fetishization of masculinity, leader cult, lost golden age syndrome, self-definition by opposition, mass mobilization and mass party, hierarchical party structure and tendency to purge the disloyal, and theatricality. So this article said it basically took these attributes and talked about Donald Trump and said that he was out of the 11 attributes here, he had like 6. So he was like more than halfway, but not, Hitler status yet. I say yet. A form of far-right authoritarian ultranationalism characterized by dictatorial power, forcible suppression of opposition, as well as strong regimentation of society and of the economy, which came to prominence in the early 20th century Europe. That is according to Wikipedia. How we doing?
Still no video.
Still no video.
I think what we're going to do is probably hook the other camera and
Yeah.
probably do that during the song break or speaking of song break.
It's just about time.
Actually, that just clicked. Let me see if that did anything. Add source.
I hope I wasn't
source.
boring you guys because I have a lot more.
We're just trying to get this going here, so just bear with me 1 second. Let's see if that click did anything. Doesn't seem to have. So
It's warm in here.
it is getting warm in here. Luckily, we have a 20-minute interview on the other side of the break where we can turn the AC on and just sit here.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's not looking like this camera's going to want to work through the rest of the show. So we're going to...
Why don't we get in... What's the first song we're going to play?
First song is actually a short one, so I don't have time to really...
Oh, shit.
mess with the camera during it, but what I'm going to do is turn the camera off, maybe let it cool off for a second. Maybe that's got something to do with it. And, yeah, we love technical difficulties on this show, don't we? And XM Priory's not even here.
I know. They must be listening.
Anyway, Turkey Blaster Omega, they have a new EP coming out, and this is one of the songs on it. It's called Let It Go on all WNY, ThinkSoJoE Show.
To be nice and not mean. They'll teach us to love myself and my neighbor until you interfere with the dogma and creed. And then they tell you you're not right, so something tells me they don't know. I don't know. So I open up my eyes and then I start to see that all these gods are all the same. Doesn't matter. Every day and everywhere we're closer to it once we came. So let's not try to love her. I'm gonna fucking die. So let it go. Let it go. Woo!
That was Turkey Blaster Omega on all WNY ThinkSoJoE Show. Still having no video, and it's tripping me out a little bit.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's tripping me out a little bit.
We used to not have video.
This is true, but we have had video since Christmas, so that's over 6 months now of video, and we're just we'll have video again soon, shortly. I just gotta get the other camera, which is I moved it yesterday. So,
Great.
Of course, I moved it yesterday, and now I'm like, shit, I need that.
Great.
We've been talking about, and the funny thing is, after we did this interview that we're about to play in a few minutes, we actually were talking about putting that other camera on top of this one for Zoom calls. Mm-hmm. And, well, maybe that would have been a good idea to figure out sooner.
Yeah.
Oh, well. We've been talking about all kinds of things we can do. We got these big microphones that are now on just traditional boom arm mic stands, and they're kind of
cheap ass.
Well, they're really cheap, and
lightweight.
They barely hold up these heavy ass microphones.
Yeah, they need sandbags.
So, well, it's not even that. It's that the other end is not weighted enough to put it to hold them, but. So we've been talking about, should we put the shotgun mic on the camera? Should we do lavalier mics? We're just having discussions of things we could do, but then it's like, but I just spent like $300 on these mics.
And they're so nice.
And they are really nice, and they're meant specifically for podcasting and for this purpose, as opposed to a shotgun mic or a lavalier mic or whatever. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I think maybe the camera just said, fuck it. It's too warm.
Yeah, maybe.
We're sweating in here. We are.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to just playing this interview in a few minutes. We had Lexxi Raine call in yesterday. I guess call in, is that the term to use? She was on Zoom.
Well, yeah, we called her.
And we had trouble with the camera yesterday starting Zoom too. Remember, we rebooted the computer. We can't do that now because we're in the middle of a broadcast. we rebooted the computer, and then it was like, oh, well, okay, I guess we're... okay, it's working now.
Yeah.
Let's call her and get her on and do this Zoom interview.
It was nice to see Lexxi, even though it was, virtually.
Yeah. Oh, what happened there? That's not what I wanted. It went back to the non-existent camera. I'm gonna go back there anyway. Yeah. No. We she reached out. She's got a new EP. She's getting ready to drop.
Yeah, I'm excited because it's.
I'm going to say drop with the air quotes, and you can't see it because there's no camera right now. So.
Yeah, I'm excited because she's doing something a little different.
She is.
And evolving as an artist, kind of exploring directions, and she'll tell you guys all about it. But I'm super stoked because I love to see artists grow.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she's doing it's a little bit different. I still haven't actually listened to the song because she sent it to me directly, and I was able to just program it right into the board. So we're gonna listen to it for the first time with you guys.
Cool.
When the interview is over.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we gave her a call. We talked to her for about 20 minutes about all kinds of things. She said she really, really, really misses Laura. to the point where she is going to move to England. That's the real reason she's moving. She's not moving because of school. She's moving.
No,
You'll hear all about it during the interview. But yeah, it was nice of her to think of us and say, hey, we want I want to come on your show. I want to talk about the new EP. I want to I want to give you guys a brand new song that nobody's heard before.
Yeah. To
play. So we're looking forward to that coming up in about a little over 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
24 minutes, as it were. And I got it all. It's all programmed into one button. So that's all. That's
you
nice.
just have to do the one button.
I did some work yesterday. I put some work into. I did the Calgary Flames thumbnail for the YouTube because I've been doing those hockey ones. I like it. It's just like, you know what can I do this week? What team am I doing this week? And I'm like, you know what? Been thinking about this Calgary Flames one, and I'm very proud of the way that came out. I think I did a good job.
Yeah, it does look cool.
And then I made the an overlay for our Zoom call with Lexxi because our camera is not a traditional like webcam, in a sense of like you just plug it in and it works. Mm. Of course, I just threw out a webcam yesterday because you plug it in and it didn't work, and now I got this $500 camera that's like, hey, fuck you. But anyway, it kind of gives us like a black border around the screen, and we can't get rid of it on Zoom. Mm. So when we got this side-by-side call going with, the video call, ours is in a little tiny square, and hers is like, the full. So I had to make an overlay to kind of cover that up, and you'll see that in a couple of minutes here when we fire up this interview that we did with Lexxi Raine. Who's been a wonderful friend of the show. She's been on, I think this was her third time now.
At least.
At least third time.
At least.
We've had her on many, many, many times, and she's
played shows for us.
She played some of our shows, and,
I've sold cookies at her shows.
We actually sold cookies at her last EP release. When she put out...
That is correct, and she decorated Mohawk Place and all the pink lights. It was really cute.
You actually made the ice cream cone cookies.
Ice cream cone cookies, because her last EP... what was it?
I can't remember the name of it, but she had
something nice to know ya or something like that.
Yeah, but she had the pink, the pink ice cream cone on it, and so you made ice cream cone cookies. Yep. I remember I had to go and find an ice cream cone cookie cutter.
I know, thank you.
And I managed to find one,
Thank goodness.
I'm happy. Hey, I'm also happy because Revolver Records is opening later this week. Ooh. So I will talk about records in a little while when we come back. But right now we're going to get into this interview that we did with Lexxi Raine. We did this again yesterday when our camera was working. So hope you guys enjoy it. Here it is on All WNY ThinkSoJoE Show. Or maybe hold on, I gotta push a button. I'm sorry. This is I have it set up so I can work on the camera, and also here we go.
A long time.
It has been a while. Hey, we've got Lexxi Raine here on the ThinkSoJoE Show.
Woo!
Joining us via Zoom. This is our first Zoom call ever.
And really? We've had minimal problems.
Minimal.
To be fair, I've never started a meeting. I've always joined, so I don't know how it looks like on your end.
So what happened? So I like did a test call yesterday because I'm like, how do I record this? How do I do anything? Like I don't know. So I had to call myself from my laptop. So I'm like, all right, how do I do this? I don't know.
That's funny. Well,
And
you
then I
got it
hit
working.
record.
So.
Hit record and it worked, so we're good.
Yep.
And then as soon as we went to go get you on, it's like, why is my camera showing up? So we're a few minutes later than we wanted to be, but hey, we're here. All right. Anyway.
Yes.
So how you been?
Pretty good, throughout all of this, trying to stay positive. How about you guys?
Pretty good. We're both kind of reclusive. So it hasn't been that much of a change for us. And we have each other. So it's not like we're alone, We have our favorite person he's my favorite person.
Aww.
She's one of my favorite people.
I'm up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have quite a bit going on, huh?
Yeah. It's been
all right,
busy 2 weeks.
where do we start? All right, you have a new EP coming out, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's start there.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
All right.
A
So
country EP.
It's a country. Okay, I saw the cowboy hat, and I was like, I wonder if she's going in this direction or if this is just like a cute picture,
Nope, it's crossover.
It's a crossover. Awesome. So what made you want to do that?
Well, to be honest, I've always liked country, but Buffalo is not the best country area. So
It's true.
I kind of, put it away. But Taste of Country, they had a contest. Apparently they always have a contest, but I joined it with my one country song on YouTube to see how I would do. And they picked me, they loved me. I almost won. And I was like, wow, maybe people would like the country side of me. And I am moving away. And this is the last time I got to work with my producer. So I thought, why don't we do something different and see how it goes over?
Cool. All right. So let's move on to that. You're moving away.
Yes.
Fill it. What happened? Why? Where are you going to first?
All right. Well, England, they can have me back. I toured there last autumn,
right.
And I just fell in love with everywhere, but specifically Manchester. I didn't grow up in Buffalo, so it's never felt like my home, but Manchester felt like that's where I belonged. So I've been trying to figure out a way to get back there, and the job was hard because Brexit was stopping working visas. And I thought, well, maybe I should further my education, and I got into school there. So yeah, I'm going to start in fall.
Cool. What school are you going to go to?
It's called Manchester Metropolitan University. And the funny thing is when I try to explain its size, it's like, imagine Buff State and UB. This is Manchester Metro is where I'm going. And then there's University of Manchester. So it's like I'm going to the smaller school, the one that is still going to be having face-to-face classes. So nothing's stopping me. So I'm very happy about that.
And what are you going to go to school for over there?
Forensic psychology.
Forensic psychology. That is quite different than being a rock star or country star.
Yes.
So is that what do you plan to do with that education?
Well, so I already have a degree in forensic chemistry, and I got a chemistry job, and it sucked in Buffalo. I hated it. So the psychology part of it would let me interview criminals, decide if they're allowed to leave jail and be back on the streets. So I think that I'll be able to help out more, and it'll be really fascinating. So it's something I've always wanted to do, and Buffalo doesn't have that program. So I get to go to my favorite place in the world and, get an education.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so fun. And it makes sense. It's not out of nowhere. Oh, I do music and forensic psychology. No, I do this too. I do the forensic.
Yeah.
Okay. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not just you watch too much Bones or something.
Criminal Minds. Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand that it's nothing like the TV shows, but yeah, no, I'm very excited, and that's why this whole country thing was not my last hurrah, but I'm gonna be in a different country. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to record new music, so I'm just giving it my all and seeing what happens.
Yeah. Well, when you toured, did you do a lot of networking in the area so that
Yes.
maybe you know some engineers, producers, and stuff like that?
Yeah, I actually I got approached by a talent agent who wanted me to stay there a few more months so he could book me gigs in Manchester for the whole winter. And it sounded like a great opportunity, but I was really scared to give up my apartment and just, do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you what, not everyone, I'm generalizing, but a lot of the music out there is really low and melancholy. No one uses guitar picks. It's all plucking. So when I would follow or be in between two people, and I've got like my pop punk Avril Lavigne attitude, like people listened. And in 1 month out there, I got a bigger fan base and popularity than I have in 8 years of Buffalo. It was phenomenal.
Wow.
So I think the music is going to pick up for me over there.
Cool. Yeah. I'm glad that you're still doing the music along with, your other ambitions. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. And it's super important that you have other ambitions besides music.
Yeah, that's true. And I found out that they don't pick classes over there in England. So you do all your general education classes in high school. So you start college and you only have 5 classes for the whole year. It's only your core classes.
Yeah.
So the first semester I might only have 1 class, and then there's already a band, like a metalish band, who wants me to sing with them. And so I'm just bouncing all over the place. We met in October, so he was like, I'm dying for you to come back to see if we can make this work. So I'm hoping to join like an already established band who's like, look at our singer, she's American, like she can give us more people to watch. So I'm hoping that both of them, I have time for both, and it all goes well.
Yeah, awesome. Well, good luck with that.
Thanks.
So you also have your video blog.
Yes. Nope, still not famous.
Yes, still not famous. How is that going?
It's doing really well. I've actually gotten approached by Indie Bible, vidIQ, Optimized Press to start being affiliated with them because I talk about programs so much. So now I'm getting percentages of everything people buy. But I'm helping out a lot of people. In the comments, at least, people say, like, I never knew about this, or I wish that I had known this years ago. So even though I'm not famous, I'm hoping to help other people with their journey. So, yeah, it's fun.
Well, I mean, going international isn't hurting you in your steps to becoming famous.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you're getting out there. More people are going to hear you.
Do it.
Yeah. Very cool. So how often do you do your video blog?
I put out a new YouTube video every Friday, but whether it's a vlog on that series or like a music song that I'm just recording, it depends, but I'm on episode 12 of the series. I think I have 32 planned, so it's just whenever I feel like putting them on. Cool. And my friend thinks that I should make a whole separate channel afterwards called Nope, Still Not Famous, and re-put them on that, so it's not every other week I'm putting one up. They're just all there, so I might do that too.
Yeah, very cool.
Thank you.
I applaud you for having the willpower to continue to do a YouTube series, because mine lasted 6-7 weeks, and I'm just like, I don't feel like doing one this week. I'll do one next week, and then next week became the week after, and now it's 2 years. So
it's really hard, first of all, to find time to film and edit, but also it's devastating when you don't get the views that you want, and people keep saying that eventually the right person's going to find it and share it, and then it'll blow up. But right now I'm still only getting like 100 views a week. So it's a slow process.
I mean, that's more than we have in listeners.
That's true. I made the mistake. I actually got Vermin Supreme, the presidential candidate that wants to give everybody ponies. I got him to actually retweet one of my videos about him.
Wow.
And I didn't bother to look at the numbers afterward. I just
you didn't?
I didn't think about it. It's
man.
It's a dead series anyway.
How cool though. Wow.
Yeah.
I can promise you that you'll get some UK listeners on this one this time. So
I'd imagine.
Awesome. Do you still have your fan base in India?
Yes, I do. Still getting those DMs every day. Can I see your bobs? So that's fun. Lot of will you marry me? I'm a prince here. I'll give you the world. But yeah, actually,
like Aladdin.
Right, exactly.
It's so funny, but I'll tell you what. Ever since I announced that Canadian tour, which did not happen because of the virus, I've gotten so much more popularity in Canada, including 2 record labels we have gotten Skype sessions, like they want me to come when this is all over and go visit them. So I mean, it's funny to see how like it was India only pretty much, and now it's like Brazil and Canada and UK. So, and I've got some people in Australia who submit to my Patreon page every month. They give me some money to help me keep going. So it's definitely progressing, not as fast as I want it to be, but it's a work in progress.
Hang in there.
I'll tell you what, you're still young and you can take advantage of these opportunities. I mean, like the Living Brain Dead, we're getting opportunities thrown at us left and right, and we're like, we have families, we have jobs, we have all these other responsibilities. We can't go on big tours, and we can't sign to a label, and
not to mention you guys are just getting old and don't have the energy.
Oh gosh, that's such a bummer. Like my cover band at the moment, I know we haven't played since the Black Heart dance,
Ball,
yeah, Black and Heart Ball. But the one guy, he's got a wife and a kid, and I mean, he doesn't even want to go to Rochester, an hour away for a show because of everything going on. So it's hard the older you get to find people who are like, I'll quit my job, I'll go follow you guys around the world.
Yeah. Hard. People give up their ambitions and just like the road takes them somewhere else.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine, you know, especially like, you know, not everyone's going to make it famous, which is what I keep saying in my series. Like, at one point, I will give up on the dream, but I'll still be making YouTube videos and writing music. I can never stop that. But.
Right. Awesome. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dead air. All right. Anyway.
We love it.
That awkward silence. It's always...
No, so, go ahead.
What, we're going to play a song shortly. Yes. By you. What song would you like us to play?
I Don't Want Your Man, because the video comes out Saturday.
Okay, cool. All right.
I'm so excited for this song. This song perpetuated the whole album. I wrote it in 10 minutes. I was really effing angry at a girl in New York City, and I was like, I played it for my mom because I FaceTime her every single time I write a new song, and she doesn't like country, so I played it for her, and she was like, wow, it's really country, no getting around that. And so that's how I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a whole country album, because if I just got a finalist position in the Taste of Country thing, people are liking my country music, and I feel really passionate about it. I was like, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. Awesome.
My mom will like it. I'm sure I'll like it too. I mean, I haven't heard it yet, but my mom, I'm sure, will absolutely love it. So I will make sure to share it with her.
Good. I played it for a bunch of because it broke the internet for a little bit when I announced the country stuff, because my pop punk fans were not happy. But the people I've played it to, like my drummer and some of my bandmates, they say that there's so much of me still in there. It's my pop rock roots. It's that weird album that Taylor Swift had that won no Grammys because it was half country and half pop, you know? So it's like, I'm not selling out. It's not a full country album, but it's not full pop punk anymore. So
cool.
I think with those younger kind of fan bases, you kind of get that, like, well, you're not singing the genre I like, so we're not going to support it. And I was like that when I was a kid too. It's not metal, I'm not listening to it. And now it's like, like, I feel like listening to Hank Williams right now, you know? So like, you know.
Exactly. And this time I'm finally doing the promotion right. I've already been on, this is my 4th podcast for it. I've already gotten 3 reviews. So I had networking people from Outlasted, so I just reached out to these same people again, and I was like, hey, can you also do it for this? So I think this release, even though it's virtual and I had to cancel my release show, I think it's going to be the biggest one that I've ever had.
Awesome. Well, we are definitely here rooting for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And I don't know, I think that when you do like a crossover thing, that's pretty cool, because people that might not listen to country might be like, oh, you know, she kind of is sounding like this country singer, you know, maybe I'll listen. You know, you might make some people realize that they like something new.
I think so too. And I think it really, I understand that people don't like crossovers sometimes, but I think it's kind of a positive thing for the artist to be able to do, to not be pigeonholed in this one genre, can never write outside of it. So I think it'll be cool.
That would be boring if you just couldn't evolve.
Yeah.
It would be great if you get some of the punk pop fans that are used to your older style to hear this and just kind of say, hey, you know what, this country stuff isn't bad.
Yeah, right.
So
yeah.
Maybe some of it's okay.
I mean,
Yeah, maybe
but again,
some
when
of
I
it.
was in my 20s, I was like, I don't know, fuck country music.
I know,
But,
yeah.
now
Oh,
I'm like
yeah.
Garth Brooks, Hank Williams, Rogers, let's go.
Well, that's old country, man. That's the
Well,
good stuff. You know, this is
yeah.
definitely pop country, but yeah, and I'm so excited. We filmed the whole music video in the pandemic, so I can't give away the ending because the ending is really funny. I did release it for my Patreon subscribers on Saturday, and they absolutely loved it because, like I said, I mean, you guys can see it early if you want, but the world has to wait till Saturday. I hope.
Thanks.
I hope it's good. Yeah.
Excellent.
And you're the
Cool.
first podcast that will be premiering this song, so
Oh,
Okay,
excellent.
very cool.
We appreciate that.
saved it for
We
you
get
guys.
to do that. We've gotten to do that a little bit lately, premiere some
Yeah.
songs. So
Good.
Yeah,
COVID
thank
songs, people who are just making music during this whole time.
A lot of release parties were scheduled
Yeah.
during this quarantine
Yeah.
time, and they're still releasing the music. They're just not doing the shows and the parties. So we're helping them push the music.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
I-
awesome.
I can relate. My EP came out on March 12th. So
Right.
everything
Right
shut
before it
down
all
March
crashed.
15th. So it's just like
Uh,
we got the CDs on March 16th, right after everything shut down. So it's like we haven't had a show to sell CDs at.
oh my God. And that's a big chunk of change, you know?
Yeah.
For my first release show, I had all the merchandise, t-shirts, bracelets, and everything. And so I didn't buy any merch yet because I'll see how it does virtually, and then I'll, put the orders in.
There you go.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we were at a point where we just didn't think anything was. We didn't know, We're just like, okay, let's get CDs and let's get download cards and everything, and just
Yeah.
as soon as we have the CDs in hand, it's like, okay, bars and restaurants are all closing, shows are gonna have to be postponed, and just, man, like, what are we gonna do with this box of 100 CDs?
As of right now, restaurants and bars are all going to be able to open like next week, I think. So,
Yeah.
We're getting like that much closer to
Yes.
live music. It's a huge
Yeah.
step. I mean, patios are open already. That's
Yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm.
Might be nice to go get some lunch, Joe.
You gotta take her out now.
Got some restaurants around here. We can go. That's cool.
Oh yeah. No, I'm excited though. I unfortunately don't think I'll be having any shows before I leave because I mean, and maybe some solo shows, but I can't get the band back together and be like, hey, we haven't practiced in 3 months. Do you want to try to be perfect again?
Yeah. Well, when do you leave?
My tentative move date is August 14th.
Okay.
So you
I'll be
do
back in
have
December.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is the ultimate goal is like citizenship your goal for when you move there, or
so? The answer is yes. My mom's answer is no. She wants me to come back and I'm probably gonna go for my master's. So that's 4 years. It's very weird. Like their master's is our doctorate program or something because they're so accelerated. So she says if I get my master's, then it's only like a 6-month extra long degree here to get my doctor's or something. And I'm like, we'll see. I'm not planning, and like, I don't know what's gonna happen. She's like, you're gonna find a husband probably and get your citizenship, but she's like, very upset about it. But yeah, that'd be the goal, or to get my citizenship, but then be an expert in my field, so I travel everywhere for crime.
Yeah,
so that'd be the dream.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any brothers or sisters?
I've got some half brothers and sisters, but I've never met them before.
Okay.
Same here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a half brother I've never met. So.
Yeah.
Nice. You were Facebook friends. Are you Facebook friends with them?
Yes.
There we go.
That's something. Well, that sucks for your mom that she's gonna have an empty nest. But
yeah.
I mean, there's things like Zoom and video chats of all types.
Exactly.
So being away from home isn't like it used to be.
Definitely not. And the thing is, like, I don't have many silver linings for this whole virus, but one of them is that all my friends have downloaded Zoom and Skype now, and I'm talking to my friends probably more than I did back when we were normal. So it's nice that, like, everyone knows how to use the technology. So it's not like, oh, you're in England now, I've got to download an app, I got to figure out how to use it, because everyone already knows. So I'm hoping to stay in
Almost
touch.
everyone.
Well, you know.
We're getting there.
I'm a long-time Skype user, and I just downloaded Zoom as soon as we set up this interview, and I'm just like, okay, well, we gotta get Zoom going now.
We could have recorded this over Skype too.
Well, yeah. Well, I think the next thing for me is I got to figure out how to use Zoom when we're doing the live broadcast, because I can't use the camera on both.
Oh,
so it's kind of weird.
So you have fun with that.
Yeah, that's next.
Well, I will be back in December. They do trimesters out there, so there's 3 breaks. I won't be coming back for every one, but definitely this December. So if you're having another all Western New York kind of ball, let me know, and I'll try to prepare for that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I actually am booking December and November stuff right now. So I'll stay in touch with you.
For sure, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm not selling my half stack or anything, so I'm going to have to make some worth out of it.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Well, we thank you for your time and for coming on the show. And I imagine we're about 20 minutes in right now. I don't know, because we didn't start right when we wanted to, but
no, I'm not even 7. It's 3:27.
Well, perfect. So that's what we wanted, was about 20 minutes. So we're about to play a song now for those of you watching live on the podcast, with this recorded yesterday. And we're going to play a new track from Lexxi Raine one more time. What's the name of the song?
I Don't Want Your Man.
I Don't Want Your Man by Lexxi Raine on all WNY. ThinkSoJoE show.
Thank you, Lexxi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to stop recording.
Heard you say you couldn't text me, block me first and then erase me. And I think it's kinda funny, cause I don't want your man. Now he won't open up my story. When he's in town he will ignore me. If you've mistaken me, I'm sorry, cause I don't want your man. Girl, I'm flattered that you're intimidated by me, but your ego's inflated. He's not so special, you see. I had him once before you came along, but I had to pass, cause boys like him never last with real women like me. Wish I could put myself in your shoes, but you got one too many issues. And confidence is what I'm made of, cause I don't need no man. It must be awful what you're feeling. At any time it could be leaving for someone else who's more appealing. Keep a good eye on your man. Girl, I'm flattered, but you're too complicated for me. And you're so overrated. You don't look good wearing green. What's the matter? I'm not the one you're after, honey. No, I don't wanna be friends, but I'm not the enemy. I'll bet you're up late tonight thinking about Mr. Right. And if
That was Lexxi Raine on all WNY. Think So Joe show. Do we have video? We don't.
No video.
No video. I don't know what's going on.
That was pretty country.
We got another. We plugged in another camera and still don't have video. You know what? No, I don't know. I have no idea. No idea.
I don't know shit about video.
I think we have maybe a USB issue. Oh no, because that wouldn't explain why the other camera was clicking when we would try and use it. I don't know. We have issues. We have no video. We got no.
Can you put the rain back?
I can put the rain back.
That's better than nothing.
It is better than nothing. Okay. I don't know. Maybe during the next song. I think the next song's like 6 minutes long, so I can maybe mess with some of the USB settings back here. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
It can't be a USB issue because that's got power, I think.
It looks like the green
light's on. That doesn't mean it's getting battery power, though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Well,
we're having issues.
Why don't we talk about this?
Black Lives Matter?
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter is an online forum intended to build connections between black people and our allies to fight anti-black racism, to spark dialogue amongst black people, and to facilitate the types of connections necessary to encourage social action and engagement.
That's according to the Black Lives Matter Facebook.
Yes, Black Lives Matter was founded in 2013 in response to the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's murderer. Black Lives Matter Foundation, Inc. is a global organization in the U.S., U.K., and Canada whose mission is to eradicate white supremacy and build local power to intervene in violence inflicted on black communities by the state and vigilantes. By combating and countering acts of violence, creating space for black imagination and innovation, and centering on black joy, we are winning immediate improvements in our lives. We affirm the lives of black, queer, and trans folks, disabled folks, undocumented folks, folks with records, women, and all black lives among the gender spectrum. Our network centers those who have been marginalized within black liberation movements. The originators of the hashtag and call to action, Alicia Garza, Patrice Cullors, and Opal Tometi, expanded their project into a national network of over 30 local chapters between 2014 and 2016. The overall Black Lives Matter movement, however, is a decentralized network and has no formal hierarchy. On Real Time with Bill Maher expressed his support for the use of Black Lives Matter phrase, stating that all lives matter implies that all lives are equally at risk, and they're not. Founders of the Black Lives Matter movement have responded to criticism of the movement's exclusivity, saying, Black Lives Matter doesn't mean your life isn't important. It means that black lives, which are seen without value within white supremacy, are important to your liberation. A very specific human rights movement started by Alicia Garza, Patrice Cullors, and Opal Tomei after Trayvon...
Oh, that's repetitive information.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
There you go. Okay.
Well, I did my homework. Okay.
But, yeah,
the thing about Black Lives Matter is...
Yes, Laura, the lens cap is off.
Black Lives Matters is that it doesn't mean only Black Lives Matter.
Right.
It means that all lives matter. We're focusing on Black lives right now because Black lives are so at risk.
So I saw this post the other day. Some old woman who I don't know how I became Facebook friends with. She posts that the Minnesota head of the police union or something is trying to say that Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. And there's all these old white folks in her comments. Oh yeah, I agree with him. Oh yeah, he's right. Oh yeah, they're terrorists. So I went in and I'm like, you know who the real terrorists are? Old white folks who think that black people should not be able to fight for their rights to be treated as equals. And somebody comes at me and they're like, well, this was started in the 60s by the Democrats. That's why the black people are held down is because of the Democrats and 60 years ago.
Wow.
And so I'm like, wait a second. So what you're telling me is that Truman started this and that Eisenhower, Reagan, Nixon, neither Bush nor Trump, or, if there was any, I'm sure I'm probably missing a Republican in there somewhere. You're telling me that none of them, if and when they actually had a Republican majority, which I'm sure has happened in the past 60 years, In fact, the last time it happened was in 2007 under the administration of George W. Bush. You're telling me that the Democrats started this, and the Democrats are the reason that black people are oppressed, but the Republicans who had power for a lot of this time period didn't do anything about it? Told them to turn off Fox News, get off the internet, and shut the fuck up,
Shall we continue on with this?
Yeah, tell me. We all know what all lives matter is. All lives matter is people trying to be like, well, I'm not racist because I think that all lives are important. But when reality is like, yes, we would like to have all lives matter. That's why we need to focus on making Black lives matter.
Legitimate issue that we've got to address, and that's according to Wikipedia.
So I saw this meme the other day, right? And it was somebody posted, and I know it's the next thing on your sheet. Somebody posted "Blue Lives Matter," right? And somebody says, "Well, all jobs matter. It's not just It's not only police that matter. All jobs matter." And the response was, "Well, those other jobs aren't under attack right now." Well, hey, look who just ran face first into the fucking point. And I think that's the problem is a lot of people don't understand that it's not just Black Lives Matter. It's implied that it's Black Lives Matter also, or Black Lives Matter too. Like, it's, yes, all lives should matter. But until all lives matter equally, then no fucking lives need to matter. You know what I mean? Like, why is my life or your life or the guy I told off the other day for posting, white lives matter?
Yeah.
Why are they? And I've seen some of his other posts, and I'll give him some credit that he had no ill intent behind that. But I did call him out, and I said, take this racist bullshit down, dude. Like, this is not important right now. My white ass and your white ass. We don't need to.
We're okay. We don't need that kind of help.
It's not about us. We're not, we don't got to fear the cops, and we don't got to, worry about, being pulled over for no reason just because we fit the description, but, that's kind of what I'm trying to say, it's not that white lives don't matter. It's not that, our lives should take a back seat to Black lives. It is that Black lives and Black people should be treated as equals to white people.
And all other people.
And all other people. We should all be treated equal, and that's what the fucking country, the literal second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence, which was signed when we said, fuck England, right? It says, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. So why are we treating people who don't look like us? Not by choice, mind you. They didn't ask to be born black. Just like I didn't ask to be born in America. Right? But here I am. And I'm in this country, and if I want this country to be great and be what Donald Trump was promising in his campaign, we need to make sure that all people are treated equally. And right now, Black lives are not being treated equally.
I think not necessarily treated equally, but valued equally.
Sure. Well, valued equally, yes, absolutely.
Because there is a difference. Because treating people a certain way because it's the law to treat them that way is one thing. Treating somebody a certain way because they deserve to be treated like a human being is different.
Right. I just, for me, it's I don't understand why people can be against the movement, and I understand some people just don't understand that it's implied that it's Black Lives Matter as well.
They're taking the wording literally instead of looking at the movement and what's behind the slogan.
And that's why, when my friend said to me the other day, oh, well, they're kind of racist too. And then he showed me that video of them chanting, pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. We're like, okay, I see where you're coming from. And I'm glad that you're able to present evidence and say, this is why I feel the way I do. And that's the right way to approach me. If you want to debate me on anything, is to come straight to me and say, hey, listen. This is why I feel the way I do, and give me some kind of illustration. I've told the story before on the show that I did a audiobook that was written by a former slave owner. Mm-hmm. And it was, this is why, slavery is a good thing. And that was what the book was about. And I did this narration, and, it pained me to do it because I under no circumstances would ever think that slavery was a good thing. But it was
I hate to play the devil's advocate, but I don't. From an economic standpoint, slavery is brilliant. Mm-hmm. From an ethical and moral standpoint, which is far more important to me than money, it's bullshit.
Well, so now the story that this guy told in the book is we're educating them, we're giving them religion, we're treating them, we're not treating them poorly. We're giving them a place to live. We're giving them education. We're giving them religion. We're giving them all this. We're helping them find God. And from his perspective, this is all good things. Mm-hmm. And to see it from that perspective, and again, I would never advocate for slavery, and I would never say that slavery was ever a good thing or but to see it from that perspective and to see it from that viewpoint, it's like, okay, I see why this particular person who wrote this book thought this was a good idea. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like about having an intellectual debate. My friend Dan, again, messaged me this week, and we had a little bit of a discussion about Black Lives Matter and defunding the police and things like that. And because he was like, oh, you really don't want to get rid of the police, do you? And I said, well, Minneapolis is talking about getting rid of their police department. Mm. And they voted on it. They're gonna do it. Apparently.
That's so crazy. Okay,
so I want to see what happens.
I do too.
I don't want to sit here and say it's going to work. It's a great idea and it's brilliant. I think we absolutely need to defund police departments. They are getting way too much funding. I saw a picture of a police Lamborghini parked in a handicap space earlier. Wow. So, you don't think they're getting too much money. There you go. Anyway, but I think we need to defund the police. And, I said, I think, I can't recall a time when I've ever felt like the police have helped me at all when I've had to call them for any reason.
I think very, very hard. And there's been a lot of encounters with the cops in my life. If you know me personally, I'll talk to you guys about some of that. Mm-hmm. No, the cops didn't help. They really didn't. They did the bare minimum. And to some of them, it was just a job. Mm-hmm. They clock out and they stop caring. And for a job like that, I think you really have to be able to do that, to check out of work. Mm-hmm. Because it's going to drain you if you can't. But there's the human aspect.
Sure.
But anyways, this brings us to the next bullet point.
Blue Lives Matter.
It's a counter movement in the United States advocating those who are prosecuted and convicted of killing law enforcement officers should be sentenced under hate crime statutes. It was started in response to Black Lives Matter after the homicides of NYPD officers Rafael Ramos and Wenjin Liu, maybe?
Wenjin Liu.
Okay.
Wenjin Liu.
In Brooklyn, in 2014. So these movements they're not even new. And here I am, fucking ignorant white girl. I don't know what Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter. I don't know what the difference is. Why can't we just get along, right? Well,
here's my problem. You want to call that a hate crime, right? So what's his face did to George Floyd? That was not a hate crime. He's not being charged as a hate crime. It's been bumped up to second-degree murder, which he's not gonna get.
Right.
But that's not a hate crime.
Well,
Look,
hate crimes.
Here is my, and not to discount hate crimes because there are hate crimes. If you're killing somebody because of what they are, why, I don't understand, obviously, blue lives are not a thing. You chose to be a cop.
You did.
You were not born a cop. Your skin is not blue.
You had the choice.
Your skin is not blue. You have the option to wear different colored clothes and get a different job.
You can clock out.
If you were born black.
You can't clock out of that.
If you were born black, you cannot, you still have to be black. No matter what you do in life, you still have to be black.
If I may, that brings me to the point of privilege.
Okay, let's talk about privilege.
Here.
Oh, I get to read it. Okay, here we go. A break from some of the really tough things people experience who aren't white. It doesn't mean you don't experience pain or hardship, but other people have a whole other category of pain or hardship and that eats up their happiness and energy that we white people get a break from, on top of the pain and hardship that all of us experience. Example, in NYC, the police are sometimes equal opportunity jerks. They've been jerks to me as a tiny white lady. That's progress. If they were assholes to everyone, we'd be talking about a different problem. But black people in New York City are scared of the police, which, by the way, should not be the case anywhere. They're supposed to be here to serve and protect everybody. But black people in New York City are scared of the police. It's not a sometimes problem for them, so we have two problems. One, the police act like an occupying military towards everyone at one time or another. Two, the police act like this in so many interactions with black people that interacting with the police is one of the scariest things that happens to black people. And that's from Amanda Dunker, activist, author of Senior Health Policy Associate at the Community Service Society.
Which I can get you the link. She's a good friend of mine. She was one of the punk rock kids that I hung out with in high school. She likes Metallica. And most of what was there underprivileged is her speculation. She is an activist. She works with the community, and she writes about socio-political things.
Sure.
So, yeah. Speaking of my friends.
Yes, next week.
Next week, we are going to have another guest. My best friend, Sarah Hartman, who is a former police officer. She has some different views, and I thought it would be really cool for us to explore some different angles of what's going on right now from somebody who has explored our angle, has gone from being a dirty punk rock kid to a cop to a stupid fucking hippie. Let's face it, she's a stupid fucking hippie now.
Tell her you said that.
Well, she might be listening. But I thought, the big problem, the reason for hatred is misunderstanding. We can all think what we want to think. We can all feel what we want to feel. It's how we act on those feelings that define us.
I want to go back to privilege for a second. And you saw this post before I did. Mm-hmm. And then I saw somebody else post the same post. And it was, have you ever thought about the fact that if you don't do anything wrong, the police won't bother you? Right? And yep. You're asking me, how do you respond to this? And I said, just say, you forgot to add the part where, at the end where it says, if you're white.
Yep.
Because that's what white privilege is. I don't have to be afraid of the cops if I get pulled over. If I were driving, I don't have to be afraid if I get pulled over that I'm going to get dragged out of the car and I'm going to get beaten. I watched a Twitter video the other day, and I actually retweeted it. So you could go on my Twitter, you could scroll back a little ways, and you can find it, of what is supposedly a routine traffic stop, right? This kid gets pulled over, black kid, okay, and he gets the the video starts, he's out of the car. He's got his hands behind his back or on the trunk or whatever, and the cop is just like, you're under arrest. He's like, what did I do? Cop's like, you're under arrest. It's like, can you please tell me what I'm under arrest for? And this goes on for a good minute or so into the video, and I don't know how long before this was going on, before this video starts. And finally, the cop says, well, you were speeding. Have
you ever been handcuffed for speeding?
I have never been asked to get out of my car for speeding, let alone handcuffed and arrested. I've had like 3 or 4 cop cars surround me while I pulled over for speeding, but I've never been scared that I'm going to have to go to jail, that I'm going to get beaten by the cop.
No, it's, damn, I'm going to have a ticket. There's going to be a fine. I might get a point on my license.
Thank God this, my friend is, or mother, or whatever the case was standing here filming. Mm-hmm. What if nobody was there filming?
I know.
This is the things you got to worry about. You know what I mean? And I don't understand why, white people don't get this. White people are just, oh, well, if you don't mess with the, if you don't break the law, the cops will leave you alone. Yeah, if you're fucking white. You don't fit the description. By the way, I fit the description sometimes because of this beard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like...
And you always have to wear all black.
But it's never, I'm still never scared because I am white and and I speak like an American citizen. You know what I mean? Like, I don't... You don't
have an accent.
I'm, a white American male. I'm not, I don't got to worry about the police arresting me for no fucking reason.
No.
And that is my privilege as a white person, and that's what white privilege is, and that is what we're fighting against is white privilege. We want to make it so nobody has to be afraid of the police. Nobody should be
right. We should all feel safer when there is authority. The people that we've been raised to believe will protect us.
And here's another thing from my perspective is, like, we've got neighbors shooting off fireworks all hours of the night. I don't know who they are.
No.
I haven't seen them. I don't want to call the cops on them.
Right.
Because I don't know if they're black. Mm. I don't know how the cops are going to react to them, if the cops are going to show... on top of that, I don't know if the cops are going to show up at all.
True.
Because we're paying them all the... we're funding them all this money in the budget for them to... I've been robbed at work in Niagara Falls. Nothing came of that. I've had $1,100 worth of stuff stolen from my apartment, went to the police, said this is the guy who did it. He got arrested a month later for stealing a Nintendo Wii out of his grandmother's retirement home.
Oh my goodness.
But nothing ever came of of me calling the cops on him and saying, hey, this is the guy who robbed $1,100 from my house. So, what the fuck good are they?
Well, as we will hear next week from an alternative point of view, Sarah doesn't think that defunding the police is the answer, but rather reallocating the funding to more training so that when use of force when we have use of force, when we have protests that these cops aren't properly trained for, this could help them to be able to handle a crowd peacefully without having to resort to riot gear. Because we saw it happen. We saw peaceful protests with police presence.
Well, let me say this. After that 75-year-old man was shoved to the ground, regardless of what Donald Trump says. After this 75-year-old man was shoved to the ground, and this Buffalo Police Task Force disassembled itself because the union said, well, we're not going to fund any more. We're not going to fund any lawsuits off of these protests.
Something about the unions.
So after this happened, we have not had nearly as much violence and rioting or anything like that without police presence downtown.
Isn't that
crazy? As we did when we had police presence. Now, if you want to talk about stupid conspiracy theories and bullshit, let's talk about Donald Trump saying that he was trying to block radio communications, and that's why they pushed him. Oh, and that he fell harder than they pushed him.
Yeah, he was a little old man. Of course he fell hard.
I shared RJ City, who's an independent wrestler based out of Southern Ontario, Western New York. He shared a video yesterday of Donald Trump taking a Stone Cold Stunner with the caption, "He fell harder than he pushed him." And I retweeted that. I'm like, that's brilliant. That's perfect. But you know, like, he got this story from OANN, I understand, and they said what, and he got their story wrong, because I saw this news report, which was just utterly ridiculous, where they said he's trying to steal he's using his cell phone to steal the radio signatures so they can track the officers, which is not what Trump said. Trump said that he was trying to block the radio communication using his cell phone. I haven't looked into this, but that does not sound possible, first of all. It could be. I could be wrong. I don't know. I have not looked into this. But
I don't think that's what happened.
But I think if you're relying on a news story whose next line is, "It's a tactic used by Antifa forces," which we told you earlier why that's stupid.
Yes.
I think you're getting your news from the wrong source, and they want to tell me that, if I were to, that I'm getting my news from the wrong source, even though I don't watch traditional news media. Whatever. Anyway, we're going to get some music now. This is Miller and the Other Sinners, and this song is called Rise on All WNY Think So Joe Show.
Sometimes feel like I'm an old oak tree, just so bound by earth law of gravity, with my grounded feet just so very heavy that I just can't reach the sun. Sometimes see me as a sharp-edged stone. I was still born from mountain shed, and it fell below to be born by wind and sliced up by snow. Such a numb and lonely one. I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna fly, I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna fly. Ain't no hand that could hold me down. Hold me to the ground. Ooh, I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna fly, I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna fly. Ain't no road that could get me by. Ain't no hand who could hold me down. Ain't no hand, ain't no hand. Sometimes seems like I'm a cloud-bound town, built a man-made steel and a human power, braced to carry on, stand for years by hours, but can never own the sky. I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna fly, I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna fly. Ain't no hand that could hold me down. My home in the ground. Ooh, I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna fly, I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna fly. Ain't no road that could get me by. Ain't no hand who could hold me down. Ain't no hand, ain't no hand. Gonna rise up in the morning. Gonna rise up, can't hold me down. Gonna rise up in the morning. Gonna rise up, can't hold me down. Gonna rise up apologize. Comes and goes as summer fires and winter snows, but knowledge is as knowledge knows. The truth that goes and goes and goes, spins despite my will to play, my fear of something firm, but I can't hit its skin out, see it bleed on me, crack the fruit and plant the seed of hope, and hope will grow wings, hope will grow wings, hope will grow wings, hope will grow wings. Gonna fly, I'm gonna fly, I'm gonna ride, gonna fly. Ain't no hand that could hold me down. My home ain't the ground. Ooh, I'm gonna ride, I'm gonna fly. Ooh, I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna fly. Ain't no hand that could hold me down. Ain't no hand that could hold me down. My home ain't the ground. I'm gonna rise. I'm gonna fly. Ooh, I'm gonna rise. I'm gonna fly. Ain't no road that can keep me bound. Ain't no hand who could hold me down. Ain't no hand, ain't no hand.
Okay, so we're having a software issue is what the problem is.
Oh, no.
So we're going to attempt something to get video for the rest of the show here. Yeah.
Do you want me to do some of this? In the
Would you,
meantime?
just for a moment?
Okay, I will talk about new releases. A lot of the new releases this week are songs that we've played. Turkey Blaster Omega, Let It Go. Lexxi Raine, I Don't Want Your Man. She's got a little country sass to her. And I don't know if Miller and the Other Sinners is a new release or... Yes, it is a relatively new release. There's also, we're going to be playing Fox 45, another suggestion by the great Rick Horton. And that was already released. It's called The Nature of Paper. So we're going to hear that in a little while. Also, keep an eye out for releases from Blood Brothers, who we played not too long ago. I believe they are dropping another song within the next week. So there's that. Hi, video. And keep an eye out for new music from Pure Heal. I don't have details on those two, but...
Okay.
I saw on Instagram that they were, look at us.
I just saw me waving again anyway.
I saw on Instagram that they were releasing, that Blood Brothers and Pure Heal were releasing music, but I couldn't find anything with my quick search on Facebook.
Sure.
So just keep an eye out. They're up to stuff.
You guys get to see me without a hat, too, because it's super fucking warm. But hey, at least I shaved my head nice and clean. I talked last week about Omni Shaver.
Yeah.
And I had, if you saw the end of last week's show, I did show my head where I had a shit ton of razor burn right on this side here.
Yep, it's so much better.
Way cleaner now.
And what did you do? What was the difference?
I followed directions.
Yeah.
I actually wet my head before I put conditioner on.
Yes. You will get razor burn if you
don't
shave dry.
I don't think I put I don't think I wet my hair before I shaved it the first time. But I've been, I commented. I've shared a video on the Omni Shaver sponsored post which has gotten a lot of responses, actually.
That's cool.
Because I've been updating every time I see the post and because I'm like, okay, well, the first time I got a really bad razor burn, they said, okay, well, here's what you do to prevent the razor burn. And also, here's a YouTube video with tips on how to, use the Omni shaver. And so I'm just like, all right, cool. So I'm, doing exactly what they said. And I've been shaving every time I'm in the shower now. I've been shaving my head.
Yeah.
And it is nice and clean and smooth.
It's really nice.
There's like a little nick like right here,
It actually
it's healing.
just looks like you have dry skin. It doesn't even look like razor burn so much.
Absolutely
dry
have dry skin.
Yeah.
So,
but you just got more lotion.
But I'm on the show with no hat on.
I know, and you look great.
I do. I look incredible. Of course, I'm blurry because I'm on the other camera now. But that's again, we had a software issue. That it was not a hardware issue. It was a software issue. So we had to pull up the old software that we were using to stream.
Yeah.
And we had to set a window capture. So, like, you're watching us broadcasting from the new software video from the old software. It's, I'm glad I watch a ton of YouTube videos about how to do this shit, honestly.
Well, hey, let's talk about what's going on with live streams this
June
week.
Alliance session, that's tonight. That's going on right now, actually.
Yep.
So if you're listening to us, you're not attending that. But that is the RJ DeMarco of Fernway and Skyway Studios has offered to help lead our next discussion, The Release. So you have some awesome new songs. Now what? What's the best way to release and market them in this fast-paced digital age? Come prepared with questions as well as your own insight. The Zoom meeting started at 6, and the discussion started around 6:30. So you can go do that. We'd be okay.
You can watch this later.
You can watch the rest of this later. I mean, now that we have video, you guys are probably like, ooh, we can watch again. All one of you. Anyway, South Buffalo Porch Fest. Living Brain Dead was supposed to be a part of South Buffalo Porch Fest.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we are not a part of South Buffalo Porch Fest.
Bummer.
They moved it to a virtual setting. They wanted to keep kind of the aesthetic of being outdoors and being on a porch, and we just kind of never got together. We haven't seen each other since the last show.
Oh, wow.
Kevin, I miss you, dude. John and Brian, I miss you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys again. Brian, Karina says I have permission to go to Revolver when they reopen. So if you're going, just let me know. I have a shit ton of cash that I have nothing else to do with. So, and it's just sitting here.
He has permission.
So I'm literally like, this is going to Revolver. I actually just got some records today. We'll talk about those in a few minutes if we have some time. But South Buffalo Porch Fest is streaming live Saturday at 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Facebook Live. We've got also Saturday, this is Tones Live with Guest, Episode 4. This week's guest will be Najee Walker of the Weekly Cool Down podcast show. Who will win the Spatula Trophy? Will Magic Tones play Maraca? Also on Saturday, this from 6 a.m. until...
It's a 3-day event.
Okay, it's a 3-day event. Busking for Bail live stream, Justice for George Floyd. Welcome to the Busking for Bail event page, a 3-day collaboration of live stream sets from artists in the DIY community. Our main incentive to support those who have been arrested at the recent protests for justice for George Floyd. Tune in and support the bands or donate directly using the link below. All are welcome to contribute. If you choose the alternate route of busking in the streets, we advise you to stay away from foot traffic as well as protesting and follow your local COVID-19 precautions. Be safe, be well, and give them hell.
Hell yeah. They have a lineup.
It's a 3-day show, so that's not even that long of a lineup. Ted Hazard, Hal, Short Bus Boys, Public Serpents, which are choking victim apparently, Vernon Surley, Travis Love Benson, and then on Saturday, Mike Defendant and Katrina Joe, Matt Pless, Sean? I don't know. Cannibal Soup, A Day Without Love, Happy Little Accidents, and on Sunday, D. Bramble, Nicotine Jones, Claws Concealed, The Runaway Freak Show, Trash Cats, and Tyler Troutman. So you could catch that on Facebook Live, I guess?
Facebook Live, and if you're lucky enough to catch buskers in the street.
Sure. Post-Apoc Live on Sunday, on next Wednesday. Post-Apoc Live, Worthy But Not Forgotten, a live stream open mic hosted by Christina Stock. This live-streamed open mic will be songs which are worthy but forgotten tunes, which exemplify good songwriting, but for whatever cruel consumerist reason, have gone to a place of obscurity or minimally slid off radio play. Bring your best, and let's have fun with it. All are welcome. Yeah, like I said, I was listening to Green Day earlier, and I was thinking about my friend, the one that sent me the message, and we were having the conversation about, his views on Black Lives Matter and defunding the police and all that. I got to thinking about it while I was listening to Green Day, because I'm listening to Green Day, and even back in, like, the Warning, Minority era, they were very political and very against, like, Republican ideals, and, there's a line, is the cop or am I the one who's really dangerous, in one of their songs, and I'm like, my friend used to listen to Green Day constantly. I think they may have been his first concert, actually.
Oh, wow.
And he's over here supporting Trump and
Things change.
thinking, Black Lives Matter are, wanting to kill cops,
Terrorists.
I guess.
Yeah.
But, whatever. And I, like I said, he gave me his reasons. I'm not going to, I get where he's coming from, but I'm not agreeing with him at all, and
Right.
and he doesn't agree with me at all, and we agree to disagree, and we have civil discussions about it because we're adults, and that's what adults are supposed to be able to fucking do.
You're supposed to.
But older people are just like, no, they're fucking terrorists, and the police are nice, and blah blah blah, and fuck you. Anyway, this is next Saturday and Sunday.
Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yes, Aqueous live at the Drive. Gates open at 1 p.m. Show is at 2 p.m. General admission tickets are $40 and VIP tickets $80 per person.
Wow.
And the VIP includes a ticket to the show, a vehicle spot in the front 2 rows, and a limited edition show poster.
Cool.
And this is Buffalo Ironworks presents Aqueous live at the Drive. Back-to-back concerts at the Transit Drive-In. These socially distanced concerts will be a unique experience not to be missed, and I hope to God do not become the new norm.
But
I think it is a great idea. I think
Yeah.
I think it's a great thing that they're doing, and they're going to get all these bands out there to do this and be able to have a safe concert in the time of COVID-19.
Right.
But I hope this does not become the new norm, because there are people like Karina and I who do not or cannot drive. Or, the younger generation.
Right, who would have to have a parent drive them and sit through the show.
And I don't mean specifically for local shows. I mean for national shows as well, because, like, if I was 16 and had to get my mom to drive me to Metallica, I wouldn't have been to my first concert.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but who's all in this? Does it say?
I think it's
It
just
does not.
Aqueous.
Okay.
I believe it is. I believe.
Well, that's cool.
If you are planning to go to this, look up, go to the website or the Facebook, the event page. There's restrictions. There are social distancing restrictions. So you have to be mindful. You have to have your mask. People can only use the bathroom, one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Bathrooms are, emergencies only. Come on.
I'm planning on going to Revolver, and I'm a little terrified of taking the bus right now. But,
I know.
You said yourself, how did you phrase that? You said, I can't remember what you said, but it was basically, you can't shelter yourself forever or whatever, something along those lines. And I really want to, light. It's light. It's not fur. I was just seeing it in the camera. I'm like, what is that? It's light from the window over there. Anyway, but I really want to go to Revolver, and I really want to spend some of this cash, because I'm building up a pretty decent record collection now.
Before you get on your records, can we mention one more show?
Yes.
I don't have the date. It's August, I believe. But it was just announced today that Days Ago is going to be opening up for Tropodelic at the Drive-In.
Okay.
Yeah. And we love Days Ago, so.
We do love Days Ago. Not so much Tropodelic.
But we
That's
love
another
Days
story.
Ago. We love Days Ago.
That's Tropodelic's another story.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that.
We'll leave that.
Yeah, that's for another show.
Not
the ThinkSoJoE show. That's for
Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, tell me about your records, Joe. Tell me about your records.
So first of all, I am still waiting on a record that I ordered like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now.
Right.
It's last updated in tracking was Sunday. USPS, the Postal Service, who we're all trying to support and keep alive for good reason, they said, oh, well, with COVID-19, blah, 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 the same excuse FedEx gave me when they had a package come late. They never resolved my issue. They said, oh, well, it's in transit and it hasn't reached the destination yet. Like, yeah, I fucking know this. That's the problem. It hasn't updated in over a week. I want to know where it is in your system and what I should do about it, because I bought it from a guy on Discogs, and I don't want to be like, dude, you need to give me my money back because I never got this record. It's not his fault.
Right.
So I don't know. Am I out? It's $10. I don't know what to do. But I did see, I think the site was like deepdiscount.com or something like that, had a vinyl sale the other day, and I kind of was like, oh, what can I get for cheap? And so I was like, oh, one of the ones that was on there was Neil Young. Neil Young, Songs for Judy.
Oh, we love it.
This is the one I have yet to open.
I'm excited. I would like to listen to that one with you.
I'm looking forward to listening to that one. I did, the first one I did open when I got it was Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. I'm going to trigger some Buffalo Bills fans. I was listening to Bon Jovi, right? And I'm thinking about how Bon Jovi was going to buy the Buffalo Bills, right? And how everybody was upset because he was going to move them to Toronto. Well, at the same time, there was another guy that was trying to buy the Buffalo Bills. Do you remember who it was?
No.
It was a certain orange-looking fella.
No.
Who later went on to do some political job somewhere in the United States.
What?
And Buffalo, you done fucked up again. Okay, because first of all, y'all fucked up with O.J. Simpson, and led to the Kardashians being famous. That's on the Buffalo Bills. Okay? And second of all, you fucked up not letting Donald Trump buy the Buffalo Bills, because if he was too goddamn preoccupied owning the fucking Buffalo Bills, we would not be in this damn situation right now. We probably would still be in this situation right now.
We'd be in a situation, just not this situation.
We'd still be in the situation. We would just have an actual fucking leader doing something about it. But this one was surprisingly good. This is the Rock and Roll 25th Anniversary Rock and Roll Hall of Fame concerts. And I just kind of saw these like, they're like $7-8 each, and they sound like a good time. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna buy some records. So I got me a nice little mail call today before the show, and got to listen to some of that, and that I was pleasantly surprised by that 25th anniversary concert record.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Was not expecting it to be that good. So I just got AC/DC Dirty Deeds over the last week. I got Metallica's Load because I was just like on a whim. I'm just like, hey, let me look at vinyl on Metallica's website. And sure enough, they had Load on sale because that night they were showing on their Metallica Mondays the one of the concerts from that tour. That was the first tour I ever saw Metallica on. My first concert was on that tour.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, I got to watch this tonight. And I really would like to buy a copy of Load, even though I'm trying to hold out for these later albums for when they re-release them down the line with the box sets and all that. But I finally decided to say fuck it and buy it because I wanted to listen to it. So got that this past week. So I've been upping my collection. I got the Beatles' Help. I think we talked about that last week.
Yeah.
So that's not new now compared to everything else. But yeah, I'm building up my record collection. So I'm kind of happy about that.
All right, Joe, let's finish these off.
Am I just drawing one here?
Draw one.
We have about 1 minute.
So we have enough for one.
We have enough for one. I'm going to grab, what's this one here?
LGBTQ plus community.
There it goes. It's too bright if I hold it right up to the cow. There it goes. There it goes.
Okay. So I don't have a ton of notes for this, but I do have that it stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, asexual, agender, and ally. That is as defined by USA Today. Part of the correlation between the LGBTQ plus community and the Black Lives Matter movement right now is the Black Trans Lives Matter movement. And the hashtag say her name and say their name, because just as much as Black lives are constantly being threatened, trans Black lives are even more so being threatened. I don't know what goes through people's heads. I don't know if it's because they don't understand. I don't know if it's they're afraid.
Yeah.
It's hate. And the thing that leads to it is that we don't have information and we don't understand each other. So the LGBTQ plus community is kind of in the umbrella of Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter means that all of our lives matter, but we're focusing right now on the Black lives.
Right. Okay.
Because
so
of the
we're,
problems.
We're about to go into overtime now, but
Oh,
that's
shit.
okay. So this next band, they much like the Living Brain Dead, they did something for Bandcamp Friday where they took their proceeds and they donated to local Black causes. June 19th, that's Juneteenth. Bandcamp is actually taking all of their fees for anything that's bought at all on the platform. It's going to the not the NCAA, the NAACP Legal Defense Fund.
Wow.
So if you didn't pick up anything from us over the weekend when we were selling all our merch and giving all the proceeds to Black Love Resisting the Rust, you can pick up some merch on the June 19th. And that I believe that's next Friday.
Yes, I believe it is too.
So next Friday, you can buy any of our merch on Bandcamp, any of Yellow Sauce's music, any of anybody's music, literally anything on Bandcamp, and Bandcamp is going to donate their fees to the NAACP.
That's awesome.
Legal Defense Fund. So we are encouraging you to buy some more shit from us next week. This is Fox 45. This song is called The Nature of Paper on All WNY ThinkSoJoE Show, and we'll see you next week.